Hello and welcome. I am the LA Lucarios. I'm joined here with Makayta. We'll get him in a real sec. Just letting you guys know real quick before Makayta joins, I just want everyone to know that we're doing an analysis and drafting on everyone's draft team, but take no offense. We're just commentating what we see on paper. We have been wrong before. The last video was absolutely wrong. I think the third place dude was actually undefeated. Patmek, you're a god. So don't be surprised when we put him at 1. So, alright, so we're getting down to it. And joining me today is Makayta. Makayta, would you like to say anything?
How's it going, guys?
That is it. Yeah, Makayta is the leader of the Boston Badoofs. So, we're going to be doing the left side. I believe it's called like Draft 1 or Tier 1. So, let's get down to it. We're going to start from what we consider 12th place or like our worst team.
Hold on. Before we do that, disclaimer.
I already did it!
Do not be offended. Listen. They need it twice. Okay? Disclaimer. Do not be offended. These are just our opinions. And like we said last time, the rating is strictly for the teams, not for the players. So if we rate your team badly and you perform well, that is more of a testament to your skill than it is to your team. So let's just put that out there twice.
And I think a lot of you guys took that probably too hard, because I noticed that the draft was a lot different. Like, my biggest complaint last draft was there was no flying types. Like, a lot of people didn't draft it. This time, everyone has a flying type. Might be a weak one.
A lot of new people.
Well, yeah, but they're still flying types. Well, the returning people. The returning people have flying types, which I'm proud of. That's all. I'm really happy about that.
Yeah.
So we're going to be starting with our last place team. And again, take no offense. This is just 12 out of the 24. And if I could, I would put myself last, just because I suck.
No, you would.
Nah, I'm a god. But our last place team on our draft list is going to be Young Kuma's team.
Brooklyn Man Tykes.
Yeah.
And one of the main reasons for this is he has, I mean, his top 4 are pretty good. Like, let's be real. Like, Mew is amazing. Sylveon and Mew have good synergy together. But Metagross kind of overlaps the type. And his only flying type is Noivern. Which is, at least it's better than having none. Let's say that. But there's a couple types that are going to do a lot of work on this team. Fire, especially. You have the Scorch and the 2F, or the Wishy-Washy and Marshtomp to kind of mitigate that. But you're going to need that Silvally to emulate a lot of specific types.
Yeah, not having a strong water type. You have your 2 down there. You don't have a good water type. You don't have a good ground type. Flying type. You have Noivern, like he said, but not as great. And electric typing is pretty weak. Like
Electric. That's the one I was trying to think of.
Like Silvally can be anything. Mew could be anything, but they can't do.
So great.
Yeah, but they can't do both. And ground is gonna do a lot. Not having an ice type is kind of weird. Earthquake, like you do have some resistance for Earthquake, but they're still gonna be taking a chunk.
I think you put way too much merit in ice types. Like, ice is not a common thing to draft, but the strong ice types are very strong. So
yeah,
there's that. But like I said, Mew and Sylveon are a great combo. I was gonna do Mew Clefable, but someone took Clefable because Fairy just is a great synergistic type with it. But I feel like Metagross could have been substituted for a different Steel type because of the Psychic typing that matches the Mew. I don't know. I just feel like there's better options. Although I do think that you have a very strong 4 right there. The rest of the team doesn't really complement it too well. But I mean, there's still potential for great battles with this team. So don't take it to heart too badly.
Yeah. Again, it's still a very good team. You have the ability of unpredictability with Mew and Silvally. Like, honestly, that's going to win you games. So
the only thing you needed was Ditto.
Yeah.
You could have had 3.
Like, you have a great coverage because you are pretty weak to fire. Scorch eats those, loves it. So it's very good. I mean, not having a ground type though, other than Marshtomp and Silvally, that's That's a little fishy, bro. It's a little
It's
fishy.
hard to draft a good ground type late.
Yes, and there's not that many good ones. All right,
But
so
like I said, we got Silvally, so
yeah. So on to our 11th team, which will be the Atlanta Talonflames. Honestly, this
So
team
one
isn't
thing-
as bad as like
yeah,
we're
it's not
giving
that
it.
bad. Yeah.
It's just
The problem that we have with this team is that you have a strong top 4, and then the other Pokemon that fill in those 2 slots, they just don't cover enough of the weaknesses of those 4.
yeah.
Like you have Ice for Lando and Hydreigon. You have Buzzwole, sure, but then Buzzwole's weak to
You got Fairy.
flying and stuff. You don't really have many flying resists. You have Regirock.
Actually, you only
Yeah,
have
Electabuzz.
one Fairy resist, which is your Slowbro.
Mm-hmm.
And not I didn't realize this when we were looking at it originally. Not a steel type. Interesting.
True. Missing a steel type, which is very important. One of the most important types, I think, to draft. Even if you just grab a trash like F tier, steel type, that typing is just so usable.
Like, you're very lucky that no one picked up Comfy, because Comfy would run a train on this team, but like Clefable's gonna be able to run a train on this team. Sylveon's gonna be able to hyper voice this team freely with no problem at all. Lando could be able to take it out, but it's like the switch-ins. Like, the switch-ins are gonna hurt.
Slowbro. Slowbro deals with those, but like that requires you to bring Slowbro, which I don't think is an every week pick unless they have a strong fairy like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
and you have Cresselia dueling that psychic type, so there's a little bit of a problem there because I feel like psychic is a decent type offensively, but it's not one of those types you want to overlap because the really good offensive types like Ghost and Dark are super effective against it, so you don't want to have a hard time against those very common offensive types.
I also just realized, so you don't really have much of a fairy resist, but you also don't have a fairy type.
Mhm.
That's pretty bad.
And one more thing is there's no water type either. So like the 3 main types that you would want to draft are just absent.
Yeah, which is going to be very painful and very hurtful to him. Yes, these mons can get some kind of coverage on that field, but it's like you don't want to rely on not stab. Actually, I don't know if any of these get a fairy move. Maybe Cresselia. I know it gets Moonlight.
Cresselia does. Yeah, Cresselia does.
But yeah, Cresselia is more of your defensive. Like if you run defensive Hydreigon just for momentum, like U-turns and like superpower, kind of just like chip and then run away with Cresselia, like you could pair this up very nicely. Like I was already thinking of the potential of what you could possibly do to this, but it's only going to work a couple times and then people are going to realize how to handle it very quickly. So, but it's going to be very interesting seeing how you're going to be able to handle it. Because as much as knockoff hurts your team, you have Lando, which does not care about that. All right, so moving on to I believe our 10th team is Delaware Dittos.
Okay,
Please.
So I'm seeing this a lot.
My
I'm seeing this a
God,
lot.
stop! Why with the Lele and the Weavile? Why you do this to me?
Yeah, this is probably the 3rd or 4th team we've seen with this combo, and it like don't get me wrong.
It wasn't even
not
in the
terrible.
same like series of drafts too. It was in my other one. It was in my PGL.
Different drafts.
Oh my
This
God.
combo is just at least there's no Hippowdon this time. But the combo is not that great because while you don't really need the priority on Weavile, you're just handicapping yourself by getting rid of your ability to use it. It's not a good combo. Like the typings are great, and individually I think they're really good, but you don't want to like limit yourself to not clicking that ice shard, or maybe you maybe you forget that you can't click priority in your own terrain.
This is a very important thing not to forget too, because
Yeah.
my God.
That being said, the team is overall really solid. Lots of strong options. You don't really have any complete like trash Pokemon. I mean, we can argue Maractus, but at least it's a water absorber, and you know it has its uses. But another thing I think that I like about it is that you have Psychic Terrain with Slowking, which can really do a lot of work with Future Sight, and lots of cool synergy there. Although it's again an overlapping.
You have Psychic Terrain and Driploom. Driploom is a very good
Unburden.
yeah, Unburden boost. That like we could see the potential here. It's just the first thing your eye catches is like, great, Weavile's not bringing Ice Shard. I have nothing to worry about. Dragapult comes in for free.
Personally, though, I found Drifloon to be underwhelming in terrain.
Oh yeah, it's kind of carbo.
it's not terrible. It has its uses. I just couldn't make it work. So I'd like to see it if they can.
Yeah. Well, in this team, it could be very good to set up with like just Will-O-Wisp and have Weavile do work. And Como
is great.
Como, yeah. Because if you could just get Belly Drum off, like, oh my god, or Iron Defense Body Press, like, ugh. But we could see the Psychic Terrain working with Slowking too, with like Future Sights boost. Like, that's great. But on paper, another thing, well, I was gonna say you don't have a Fairy type, but you have Lele. But that's your. No, Lele is still like probably a really good Fairy type.
Really good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, your only flying type is Driplim. This is what my major thing. I wouldn't consider this as a flying type.
Yeah, like there needs to be better.
Yeah.
But we put a lot of love into flying. If you didn't notice.
Yeah. I think it's a part of the main core. All right, this team. I want to give this team last place. I'm very sorry, Trash Team Thievels. Yeah, I believe you did pretty.
Trash Team Thievels.
Did I say that wrong?
Yeah, you said Trash Team.
Oh.
Trash Town.
I believe this is the person who used my sound clip or your sound clip for one of his videos. All right, my bad. I want to give this team way worse, but it's just impossible to actually put it worse because it's just how heavy hitters. But my God, why the 6 S's and all that?
I respect it, but I do think that if you were gonna go with this strategy, there were a couple different things you can do. Like last time we rated a team, it was in top 3. I don't remember.
I think it was
second,
first or second. Yeah.
It wasn't first. It was I think it was second. But they had Clefable, Garchomp, Jirachi because I think that's a really great offensive core. But I just don't think the other 3 fill the void very well because you just have a Dracovish there. I think Dracovish would have been really great as a bulky water type that's not necessarily overlapping with the Garchomp or like adding another fairy weakness, because while you do have the Victini and the Jirachi there for the fairy, it's just like they're still going to do a number on your team. Even, what did we say?
Karen
will do a lot.
Karen runs a train on this team.
Well, you have a couple outs, like you got Clefable and you got Victini and Jirachi, but even Victini doesn't want to take a hit, and those are only temporary because the team is so offensive. Like, you can run defensive, but primarily they run offensively. So, I mean, you have a really strong 6. I just want to see how well you can utilize them together, because...
yeah, I want to see one of these weeks. Unique. I want to see one of these weeks where you just bring your top 6. And
he's got to go bottom 5 plus one of the S's. I want to see that.
I don't know about that one, Chief. I really don't. Yeah, I would definitely wouldn't do that against Karam. That's for sure. I still think, even though you have like 3 switch-ins for it, they take half. That Freeze Dry and Ice Beam are going to hurt no matter what, and that's just the truth. But it's still a very good team. I just we just no.
Solid 6. Only thing I don't like is the Dracovish because I feel like there's better options for that slot.
That I agree. But I think if you got like Toxapex or something, you probably would have been in a way better situation.
Yeah, but it might have been taken.
Yeah.
Regardless.
All right. Next one, we got Boston Cynicals. Now,
Boston Brothers.
Yeah. So, I think this team is going to be really good. It looks really good. But what did we say this team was weak to?
Very electric weak.
Yeah. Yeah, like Coco's going to run a team on this.
You have a lot of... Well, I mean, Melmetal is debatable, but you have a lot of, like, resists for electric in your lower tiers, which is fine, but when you want to run those main fighters, you got, like, Feeny and Urshifu, like, they're probably going to come every week, and they're overlapping water, so, like, a good electric type is going to be a monster, like Regieleki or Zeraora are gonna just do a number to you. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Like you have options like Stunfisk. What's Regieleki gonna do to a Stunfisk? But then you have to run your
Explosion.
yeah, then they just bring in an answer to it, and then what? You know. Another problem is that you have a big ghost weakness as well. You have Snorlax there to mitigate that a little bit, but if Spectre can't deal with a dark type with a or like a faster ghost type like a Scarfed Ghost, you might be forced into a Scarf. There's a lot of things that will hit your team really hard. Dragapult specifically, but there's other things too, like Gengar even. I don't even know if anyone drafted Gengar.
No one dropped the Gengar.
No?
Also not having a fire
Poor
type
boy.
is kind of fish.
Yeah, I had a hard time picking a fire type as well though, so I mean I can't really blame him.
Yeah, I was in the same boat. Like I didn't want to pick up a high tier fire type. Ended up doing it because there's not that many good ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that 130 speed on Spectre is gonna come in handy. So I mean, like, it's not a terrible team by any means, but you have a lot of overlapping weaknesses that I think a lot of these teams struggle with.
Bulltown has 69 health. On to the next one. Mississippimorphicos. All right, so this team. I saw the
it's only a
Coco.
real problem, yeah.
I saw the
Coco's
Coco,
great.
and I was so happy not to see Halucha.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But he had Halucha last season actually. But I think the problem that with this
Oh
team
yeah,
has
he
is
did.
you set up the terrain yourself that makes Corviknight weaker. So I mean that's the only like major flaw I saw, because you're gonna set up that electric terrain, and then any electric type that comes in to fight Corviknight is gonna have a good time. I get that there's a Seismitoad, you can stop highlighting it.
No, I'm waiting to say something. Go ahead, continue.
But Seismitoad, it's honestly a lot frailer than you would expect it to.
Oh,
It
it's
doesn't last very long.
it's
And
so
from experience, but like it does fill that gap. So I mean, there is the potential for a good.
See, the problem is
team there.
that since Seismitoad is your ground resist for electric typing, like nothing here wants to eat a terrain boosted electric move. Except for Seismitoad. Makes it easy for people to predict what it is, what's coming. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, look, I'm going to click Corviknight's out. I should click Thunderbolt. It's like, or I could click Leaf Storm now and go, meh. Or
And
click
on
a
the other
different move.
side, on the other side of that coin, he has a lot of things that protect the Seismitoad. Like he has a lot of grass resist.
Oh, he's got
So that's
Miltank
gonna
with
help
Sap
a
Sipper.
lot.
So,
Yeah.
like, if you play
Yeah,
your
it's
cards
decent.
right, you're Gucci. There's the reason why this is like this team is now in the middle compared to like how when I first saw it, it was the first team I saw, and I was like, trash. I don't like this.
It's pretty good though. Like if you look at it, he has really no bad mons.
No,
The only one that I think is kind of interesting is the Articuno Galar. I don't really see how that fits on this team too well. Like it does provide you a psychic type, but you have a flying type in Corviknight, and I don't think that it's the type of flying type you would want to have two of, because it's offensive. Although we do usually recommend having flying types. I don't know. There's something about Articuno I feel like is misplaced. in
I
this
think
game.
this Articuno doesn't get defog. I believe also doesn't get roost.
It gets recover.
Yeah, okay, it gets recover, but
Yeah.
it's going to be good against the Landos and the Incineroar because your competitive boost gets automatic, right?
I mean, I wouldn't say Incineroar, but yeah. 'Cause it
Yeah,
has
psychic.
dark types. But yeah, it has use, I guess. It's just I personally think that there were better options you could have maybe picked, and I have no examples.
Yeah.
So
Trying to think.
maybe a ground type, another ground type.
Yeah, a ground type would have been more nice. I use Seismitoad in my IPL run. It's not a Swampert, that's for sure. And they
He
get
has
almost
water absorb though.
yeah. It's got the water absorb.
I think Gastrodon is the superior.
Gastrodon is a very superior. But moving on to our next one, because this team is still pretty good, has potential for nice stuff. I think the Seismitoad and the Miltank are definitely going to be paired up together nicely because they cover each other.
Yeah.
Very nice. And as long as you play your cards right, you're looking at some easy games.
Miltank also deals with that ice and fire weakness.
Yeah, some easy games. The unpredictability of Pokemon is the best part. Now, Russ, what is this? Russ Borough City Rejects?
Yeah.
Arts, buddy, Arts. Probably the first person that we talked to in the YCL.
True.
He switched out He switched out Dragonite for Salamence today, and that makes me sad. We could have been Dragonite bros.
Something very interesting about this team is that he has 2 Rotom forms on it, which I thought was very strange. I thought we had a species clause. I don't think we do though, but I don't think you would ever run both.
Yeah, it's pretty much you picked up Rotom Frost for a Blizzard.
Mm-hmm.
Granted,
he had that last time too.
Yeah, and it's just
this is the main flaw. So I learned this last season. You don't want Rotom Wash to be your only water type because you're stuck with Hydro Pump. And the flaw that this team has is not only is that your only water type, your only other water type attack, I believe, is Hydro Pump on Salamence, maybe Aqua Tail on Salamence, but those are all very inaccurate water type moves, and it's gonna be a bad time if you need water coverage. That being said, team overall looks solid. Besides that one thing, you have a big rock weakness, but I said this in our analysis that you have a big rock weakness, but you drafted one of the best offensive rock types.
I thought you said rock weenus. I thought you said rock weenus.
Why would you even think?
I don't know.
Yeah. He picked up one of the best offensive rock types, so you kind of mitigate yourself of that weakness, specifically because Nihilego is on your team.
Yeah.
But you also don't have a fighting type besides Cinderace, but then you're forced to use High Jump Kick. So,
which is a gamble. A huge gamble. And honestly, I think Cinderace is probably a little maybe overpriced as being S plus tier. Even with Libero, I don't know. It's easily predictable now.
Yeah, but I think it's very good.
Granted, you do have defoggers with Wash and Rotoms and Salamence. Yeah, like you have defoggers, but you have Court Change. No one's gonna want to set up rocks against you. Like, it's just, it's not a thing.
Bet.
I mean, no one wants to, but if you do it, you're doing it. You go all in.
Yeah, if they don't have a spinner, they're forced to get rid of their own hazards because you have a Nihilego and a Sandaconda that are definitely going to set them themselves. So, I mean, like, you have some pretty good hazard control. I think that's really solid on your team. You also have screens with Grimmsnarl. But I don't like Grimmsnarl as a fairy type because it's weak to fairy itself.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I feel like maybe another fairy type could have been good on your team, like, in addition to, not instead of. Because Grimmsnarl itself has a lot of utility of its own, and priority is nice, so, yeah.
You have a very scary team. It's just
good team.
Yeah, this is a very scary team, and I believe you went to you're a runner up.
Maybe chill out next time you're at IKEA though. You don't need to.
Yeah.
Next up.
All right, so our next team is Lisbon Arcanites.
Yeah, Lisbon. I think that this team has a very solid top 3. Very solid. Celesteela, Zygarde, Toxapex, and that's why it's rated so highly. Because if you look, like, his bottom Pokemon are not very usable. I mean, Porygon has its.
This man's a fanboy.
Pat Mac showed us.
Yeah,
Pat Mac showed us last season. But having your only offensive water type being Sharpedo, as well as it being your only Ghost Resist besides Porygon, I feel like you could have done a little better with that. And your team's not very fast aside from Raikou. I mean, you have Zygarde and Sharpedo as well, but 95 nowadays just doesn't cut it. So, like, you're really going to have to work on outspeeding those teams that have those really fast mons, like Cinderace and Dragapult and Regieleki. I don't know if anyone drafted Regieleki on this side of the draft. I don't think
if I remember correctly, no. I don't think anyone did.
But, I mean, playoffs are there, and I'm coming, so...
Yeah. You stole my Regieleki.
You didn't ask for it. Yeah. Overall, I think it's a pretty solid team.
And on paper, on here, you don't have any weaknesses, which is just great to see.
Weaknesses.
But I do think that having, like, a very weak grass type is going to be kind of a downfall in some cases.
Mm-hmm.
But As we saw, not a lot of people picked up water types, strong water types this far in, so maybe it's not that big of a deal.
Toxapex is going to be strong.
Toxapex is going to be annoying. Play your cards correctly. This is going to be the worst case scenario.
All right. Number 4.
You say that one because I don't know what that word is.
Augusta Agrons. Now this team, top 4, super solid top 4.
And then the next 3 is just even better. Like they pair up very nicely.
Yeah, you have a really strong like top 7 right here. But Urshifu and Latios I thought was a little strange together because they're both weak to Fairy. But then you got Nidoqueen and Scizor there to mitigate that weakness. And you even have the same problem, like you have Scizor and Whimsicott weak to fire. You got Moltres, you got Zygarde, you got Nidoqueen who doesn't care, and Latios. Like you have all your typings covered really well with each other in those top 7. The only reason this isn't higher is because I think the other teams drafted a lot stronger overall, and you have a couple things at the bottom that are weak. Like last season, I discovered Kling is a lot better on paper than he is on an actual usable team. But you have Scizor there as a good steel type. You got Lantern, who I think is very underrated. And you got the big boy Greedent right there, who I hope you bring every week as a meme. I'm saying it now. But yeah, you're just top 7 is really solid. It's going to be interesting to see which one you substitute out. Probably Zygarde most weeks, but it has the potential to be there for that extreme speed and that ground coverage. That extra ground coverage, because having Nidoqueen and Zygarde is never like a bad thing. They're 2 very strong ground types.
Honestly,
as well as Latios and Zygarde as 2 strong dragons.
Quick question.
Yeah.
On this, and please leave a comment down below. Why Nidoqueen over Nidoking?
Well, Nidoqueen's bulkier, and I think a lot of people think that Nidoking is superior because he's the offensive one, but honestly, I think Nidoking is equally as powerful in the right situations. The only difference is that it's a little slower. So that does make a difference.
Yeah.
But it can basically do everything Nidoking can, except I think Megahorn. Maybe it gets that too.
But yeah. I just saw that. I just looked it up, and it doesn't seem like anyone drafted Nidoking in this side, so
yeah, he's doing it for style points. I give him props for that.
Yeah. Good. Prove us wrong.
This man's simping over here.
But yeah, I love the Moltres pick. It goes great with Latios. It goes great with Urshifu. Scizor. It's just like anything that wants doesn't want to take a physical hit. Moltres.
He took Moltres from the person that wants to use it on his Scizor. So I mean, like,
yeah,
props.
Yeah. Best kind of counter is take it away from them. All right, next team.
3.
Immortal Drampa.
Yeah. This team's only number 3 because Dragapult's on it.
Yeah, that's it. Next.
No, I'm just kidding. So,
Dragapult, Heatran, Terrakion, very good combo.
Mm-hmm.
Just one bad thing is that you only have like 2 ground as recessed, and everything else is going to be kind of doing work to it.
I'm going to interrupt you. I think you should have kept the Ice Cube over Clefairy. I believe it was Ice Cube. Was that either Ice Cube or Kramer that he traded?
I believe Ice Cube.
Yeah, Ice Cube for Clefairy. So, I think Ice Cube fits something that Clefairy doesn't on this team. And 1, that's an offensive ice type.
2, it's an ice type.
Yeah, an ice type. And 2, like, you have Togekiss already that does everything that Clefairy does, but better. So if you want that Eviolite option, it is there. I get it. Maybe Togetic would have been better. No, but you already have Togekiss. I was thinking of Clefairy being Togetic. That was, but yeah, but like you have, Ice Cube would have been a lot stronger, and I think Ice Cube has a lot more of a potential, like, offensive prowess. Maybe not defensive as Clefairy would be, but I think you already have a lot of defensive things like Quagsire, because Clefairy doesn't even get Unaware, which is lame. But,
yeah.
I think,
the number one thing that was wrong with this team that we noticed that Ghost type is going to hurt this team hard.
Ghost hurts everything.
Absol
everybody's team
is your only resist, really. Heatran's going to be able to eat 1 or 2 up, but it's like you don't you don't want him to eat that.
Raboot has Libero with Sucker Punch, but then you have to expect him to like attack. Like there's the whole prediction. It's not a reliable answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, this team is solid. That's why it's the number 3. But there are flaws. But you draft a Dragon Pulse, so you're automatically top 3. That's just how it works.
Yeah, that's just how it works. That's the reason why I made a finals.
Mhm.
So our next
Exactly.
two picks
I
are
will say that their top picks had absolutely nothing to do with it. It was only because of the players. I'll say that.
yes. These players are going to be the top. Disgusting. They're probably going to go to finals, and I hope they go up against week 1 because I just want to watch this fight. So
I was kidding, by the way. It is definitely because of their top picks. Look at how powerful they got. Lando, Zero Aura, Blastoise, who is a threat, even though it's a B tier. But this dude, Mountain CCS,
top pick
is
quotations.
yeah, like clearly he knows what he's doing because this is a very solid team.
Yeah, this
Like,
is
the
this is
CCS
utterly
not
disgusting.
lie. Only thing I don't like is Lunatone, but that's because Lunatone's trash. But like as an F tier, it's really one of the better options, so I can't even be mad about that.
He's got what a lot of people don't have. He's got a fighting type. He's got a grass type. He's got so much. He's got really just so much. So
he's got
this
a lot
is
of physical too.
This is
but
a
he
threat.
has a lot of things to deal with that as well.
And granted, he does not have a sand setter. He picked up Lando I, but no.
He gets Sheer Force.
Oh yeah. It's usually the other way around. My bad.
Yeah. Sheer Force is the one that's.
Yeah, this
You
man's
wanna
gonna run a train on people. Alrighty.
Uh,
Well, that's my prediction. I see him as I believe he's number 1 in the CCS score.
Two.
Number 2.
He wasn't around for a long time, but we looked at the other day. I think he was lower.
Okay. So, but he's still up there. And of course, number 1 is Batmech. The dude went undefeated. 13 and 0.
Undefeated, but that has nothing to do with him being first here.
It's mine.
Nasty.
No, this team is nasty. He picked up 3 of my favorite mons in draft league, and my god, this is going to be hard.
Some
and
ground weakness there, but you got some
Wait.
things that answer it as well.
He's got Mana Buzz. What are you talking about? There's no
That's
such
what I
thing.
said. He's got Kyurem and Mandibuzz that deal with it, and Swampert even. But and Virizion, like you got answers, but the things that you don't want to hit, like you want to deal with those ground types early with this team. But it's solid overall.
I am pretty interested in seeing how he plays because he used Porygon, which we all thought like that's not coming in. This man picked up a Torracat, and the bus, the short bus.
Struggle.
I'm ready. But granted,
Yeah, I think this
that's
team's
his
really
only electric type is the short bus. Like that is kind of. But
He's
you
got
do
a
get
ground
Thunder.
type.
You get Thunderbolt on Starmie.
He's got coverage.
He's got
That's
coverage.
not the problem. But the
A
the
regenerator
F-tiers-
core team though is.
which I'm positive we will see come because he likes to bring the struggle bus in his lower tiers. We will see them, but I still think even if he didn't, his other 8 even are really powerful, synergistically, and clearly there's a reason he went undefeated because it's a really powerful team.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Yeah, I think I personally kind of gave his a little bit higher, just a bias because of how he plays. He is very good. So even though that he has like a higher ground weakness, he's gonna be able to play around it correctly.
100%.
The only team
But
that's gonna be
I
What?
didn't take that into account because I was looking strictly at the teams.
the Zygarde is gonna be the only one that
The
can stop
team
him.
is solid. Maybe.
But yeah, those are our ratings. If you guys have a problem wherever we placed you, prove us wrong.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Prove us wrong, because that's the best part of this, is we get to see you prove us wrong.
And granted, a lot of people proved us wrong in the last video that Makayta here did.
Not a lot of people.
Not a lot of people, but some people were. I think
Fairly.
we placed like the lowest ranking team. I think it was the Arcanines last season, and
remember.
he went to finals. But got 6-0 by me. But he went to finals. Sorry. I'm sorry, Squid. I had to put it in there. It was huh? I believe so. I believe so, actually.
I mean, hey, but like I said at the beginning, like we're rating the teams, not the players. And so,
Not
like,
the players, no.
even with the worst team you could possibly imagine, someone's gonna be able to use that team properly.
True. And in all honesty, I believe that, like, I think Pat Mac might actually lose a couple, maybe one or two.
That's why he put us in the other team, because he didn't want to lose.
Man, I'm glad. I don't want to go up against this dude.
I'll see you week 1 in playoffs. He was not first, by the way. He was Phalanx de Guadalajara was first.
Yeah.
Last.
But either way, our ratings do not matter. We're just doing this for fun.
Exactly.
And I love to see the fact that you could prove us wrong.
Go back to Squid.
Squeak.
Nice. He had to come up. His CCS almost doubled. We like to see it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he did go.
It almost reversed Uno'd.
What was he, like 6 and 4? In the regular. Oh yeah, it says right here 7 and 5. He went.
Yeah, good job.
He went really well.
Yeah. Well, I still hope he proves us wrong this season and his CCS goes down. Just kidding. Just
Yeah.
kidding.
Everyone has to
succeed.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, but 6 of you guys have to lose. 7 of you guys have to win. That's just how math works.
Is it?
Nope. But yeah.
6 and 6.
If you want to see us do our league, where me and Makayta are going to be actually participating in, leave a like and comment below. That'll be on Makayta's channel. We're not completely sure if we're going to do it just yet, but people ask for it, we'll do it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for everyone, and hopefully soon the matches will start coming.